One of the most iconic ghost figures in the Mario franchise is no other than Boo. The distinctive characteristic of Boo is its shy personality, which I would like to implement in jBG. By the way, there is an ongoing jBG game jam with the theme eccentric ghost, so feel free to include it in your game, and you can even make it more eccentric like this. Alright, let's get started. In this tutorial, we are going to firstly create a Boo model. Secondly, we are going to add an AI to randomize a movement when the Boo cannot see a person. And lastly, we will add an AI to follow a person and stop whenever the person sees it. So here is my current setting. I have a few textures ready and the word nodon set up. Next, I'm going to add a playable character, which is a person nodon with all the controls and a camera attached to the player. So let's create our Boo model. For Boo, I'm going to use the UFO model. Remove visible because we will use textures, and also remove solid because Boo is a ghost. Movement reference for motion must be word. And we have to reduce the horizontal and vertical speeds so that it won't be too hard for us to escape from the Boo. Next, it's time to create a simple 3D model. Aren't you excited? So we are going to add a sphere and connect it to the UFO. Go to the settings, only keep a movable property. Set the material to be zero gravity. Connection point is from center to center. Adding a white color texture with all faces except Z negative because the face uses Z negative. And then adding two more textures, normal face and shy face, both with Z negative texture face. Connecting this to the sphere. And when do we show a shy face? We will show a shy face when wormhole exit S stands for shy, sends a signal. Otherwise, we will show a normal face. So here I'm adding a wormhole exit S, and I connect the output to the shy face. And I'm adding not nodon and connect the output of the not nodon to the normal face. So here is our Boo. Of course, you can make it look nicer than mine. Next, it's a fun time. We are going to add an AI to move Boo. So there are two types of movements. First, a random movement when the person is not around. Secondly, a Boo moving towards the person when the person is nearby, but stop whenever the person faces the Boo. We are going to add a random movement first. So here I'm adding a wormhole exit P. This will only send a signal when there is a person nearby. Then we need a random movement when there is no person nearby, so I'm adding a not nodon. Next, we need to randomize the direction every 3 seconds. I'm adding a timer here with output after timing 3 seconds. Add a random nodon to randomize values between 0 and 260. Now you can see a new value at the random nodon every 3 seconds. Then changing this into a position by adding anchor to position nodon. And we use these values only when the person is not nearby. So we need a multiplication nodon, multiply the outputs from anchor to position nodon to the output from not P. And we are going to use those values to control the UFO forward, backward, and left-right movement. So right now you can see our Boo moved randomly in a random direction. But when the Boo is nearby the person, the Boo should move towards the person instead. So we are going to do that. Here I'm going to add a program to compute the distance between the person and the Boo. I need to know the location of both characters before I can compute the distance. So here I'm going to add location sensors and connect them to both characters. Do note that I'm putting the person's location sensor above the UFO's location sensor to avoid confusion in the next step. Here is the distance formula. I have to compute the square root of the sum square of the persons and the UFO's X, Y, and Z difference. So here I'm showing you how to get the x difference. I'm adding minus nodon and the input 1 and input 2 are persons and both x locations. To get the square of x difference, I use the multiplication nodon with 2 inputs as x difference. And I'm going to repeat the same steps with y and z axis. Next, I'm going to find the square root of the summation of all the 3 values. So here I'm adding a square root nodon. Then I send the output of all the multiplication nodons into the square root nodon. And that is our distance value. We have to check if this is less than 12 or not. So I'm going to add less than and a constant 12. You can adjust this value based on how far you want Boo to chase you. When this is true, it means that a person is nearby. So I'm going to send this into the wormhole entrance P. Why P? Since the earlier step, we have used wormhole P to tell if a person is nearby or not. Let's go back to the game screen. Now you can see the Boo randomly moves. But when the person is close enough, Boo will stop its random movement. Next, we are going to make Boo follow the person when the person is nearby and not looking at Boo. To check if a person can see Boo, we will add a touch sensor that can check for UFO and connect it to the person. Go to the settings, change the shape to be the sphere, and at connection point, update it to be from Z positive to Z negative so that it will appear in front of the person. Next, check for UFO only. So now we will see a huge touch sensor in front of the person nodon. If a UFO touches this, it means that a person can see it. Now I'm going to make Boo following the person when first, the person does not see Boo, and second, the person is nearby. For the first condition, it can be obtained by adding not to the touch sensor. The second condition is from wormhole exit P, and we have to add and nodon because we need both conditions to be true for Boo to move towards the person. But which direction should Boo move? We have to convert the x and z differences between the person and Boo's location into the direction by using position to angle nodon. Send x and z differences into horizontal and vertical inputs respectively. However, there is no angle input on the UFO. We have to change the angle back into position by using angle to position nodon. We only use these values to control Boo when the conditions are met. Add multiplication nodons to make sure that these outputs are used only when the conditions are met. Multiply the horizontal output with an output, which is true only when the person is nearby and the person does not see Boo. Send the output to UFOs left-right. Also multiply the vertical output with an output and send the value to UFOs forward-backward. For the y-axis movement, simply time y difference with AND output and send the signal to up-down port. Now we have a complete AI. Boo will move randomly when the person is far from it. When the person is close to it, Boo will follow but stop when the person looks at Boo. However, Boo does not look shy at all when the person sees Boo. That's going to be our last step. When we created two Boo faces, we use wormhole S to tell if Boo is currently shy or not. So, when should it send a signal? It should send a signal when the person is nearby and the person is looking at Boo. Let's add a wormhole entrance S here. And add one AND nodon because we need two conditions. First, the person is looking at Boo, which can be gotten from the touch sensor. The second condition is that the person is nearby, which can be gotten from P. And that's it for today's tutorial. Don't forget to remove visible properties of all sensors to remove wireframes. If you like this kind of content, please press the like button and subscribe. Bye bye and have fun in jJam. See you all again.